Hey, the average Joe here. Hey, I wanted to share with you a little project example I saw at the office of Van Borm and Frank Associates. They're a consulting firm in Salt Lake City, Utah. They have just over 100 people in their organization and 4 offices. And anyway, Tony here, who you can see right off to the right here, he has been a designer at Van Borm and Frank Consulting Engineers for the last, ever since Revit came out. He's been using the Revit product that same amount of time. You'll see on his screen here, he's got 2 screens there. And here to the right is a schematic with 3 boilers, some pumps, and some loads. You'll see on his Revit 3D view, there's the 3 pumps, excuse me, the 3 boilers. The pumps are right here, the little expansion tank and air separator in there as well. And then the top view, you can see the boilers over here and the pumps and tanks in that location. Now the workflow he is accustomed to and how he works with his project engineers and the principals in the office, and you'll see right down here, he's got the same schematic printed out. So this schematic here printed out, and the one here to the right is the HVAC solution schematic. Now let's go open up and look at the software. So it'd be a project similar to this. This wasn't the one he had, but I just created this quickly. 3 boilers. Here's some pumps, expansion tank, air separator, some loads over here. So when a project, kind of the workflow is, engineers run their loads. They import them into HVAC solution here. File, import, and you can bring in the carrier, train trace, 700 or elite or take loads. And then once the loads are brought in, questions are asked, and the system's created automatically. And then after the schematics have been created, the hydronic and air, VRF, whatever, plumbing, whichever schematics are related to the project, then that principal engineer gives this schematic to Tony, just tells him where it is in the file server. Tony opens up this schematic, and that's where he comes in, and you'll see there, back to the diagram, is where he sees that schematic, and he builds his Revit 3D model in the top view from that system schematic. Puts the 3 boilers on, starts putting tanks and expansion tanks and pumps on. He knows how to connect everything up in the 3D model in the top view because he has it all that's been pre-created in the system schematics. Once this has all been completed and done, then obviously he has the system schematics in a drafting view, and then the Revit projects are in the files, as they're created in Revit. Now, also part of that workflow, let's go back to HVAC solution here, is as somebody is done with the system schematic, you can come to the file, the Revit connection here, and just going to save the projects here, waiting to connect to Revit. And as it's connected to Revit, we'll open up here, you'll see it's connected to Revit. We have the add-in in Revit here, the HVAC solution add-in. We'll come right over here. And map equipment. So during this time, here's the air separator, expansion tank, boilers, pumps that are in the HVAC solution schematic. And then once he puts the likewise boilers and pumps and that in his Revit drawing, then he can actually map all the data from HVAC solution to the Revit parameter and transfer the data. Simple, there's a boiler, you link them together, you transfer the data. Now the data that's been sized and selected in HVAC solution, all that equipment is now, all those parameters information is in the Revit boiler right there. So now that data resides. You can click on the boiler and go and see that data, and then use the Revit API to create your schedules in there. So that is basically the workflow that Tony's been using as a designer to create, many projects, very complicated to very simple, is by getting the system schematic, everything's connected, selected, scheduled, and then creating the 3D model from all those schematics. So anyway, just wanted to share that project with you, and how Tony works and brings the two programs together to complete designs. Saves time. What used to take days and weeks now takes minutes and hours with the software HVAC solution. Hey, reach out to us if you have any questions or would like a demo. Thanks.